All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is round two, match three, part two of the HLL IASP charity tournament. This is a round between NPA versus TAW. Joined with me today is Second Lieutenant Mix.
Hello, everybody.
And I've got First Lieutenant Rob.
Hey, guys.
We're fighting over Town Center on Carentan and Customs in the north. So it should be an interesting matchup.
Wow, I can't believe out of all the map flips, every single one has been Town Center except for one so far. So one out of five?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. What are the other points other than Town Center that are in the center of the map? Because I'm not even 100% on that.
There's Canal Crossing in the north and Railroad in the south.
Oh, yeah, it'd be the only one thus far.
So what we saw last round was pretty fun. A bunch of back and forth over the middle point. I wonder how both teams will adjust to maybe see if they can't get control and maintenance this time on Town Center instead of it being a flippy back and forth fight.
Well, we'll see here. As we've got 10 seconds.
Big fan if they made the warm-up time 2 minutes instead of 1.
I think it is 2 minutes, but
it is 2 minutes. You're just slow to load in.
Yeah, let me correct myself. They made it like 3 or 4 minutes instead of 2 minutes.
Absolutely agree with that.
2 minutes is
not quite enough to get organized.
What they need to do is they need to factor in the fact that there's a prep timer now into the overall game time. Because now, whenever you're talking about increasing the time, it's decreasing that.
All right, there's a development already in the south here as TAW, with their support and engineer, managed to get their transport truck stuck in the south.
Ooh, that's really unfortunate.
Those craters are deeper than they look.
Yeah, TAW is, or not TAW, NPA is moving along the canal here, and they've got a supply truck looking to probably set up a garrison near Customs first, and then they're pushing into Town Center in a German transport, and it looks like they'll be first to the point by far.
We were speculating yesterday this map, Town Center, might be tipped a little bit towards the U.S. in terms of access, but that doesn't seem to be playing out right now.
No, Germans definitely have the access advantage to Town Center. The road is a lot more straight from the center HQ, or from the top HQ going in. It's a straight line.
Yeah, the challenging point though is like the way the German HQ is with the funky railroad and then the only one bridge. It can be really easy to mismanage that move. NPA gets a really commanding presence on the point early. Real quick, Sparrow, I'm watching from the church side.
Yeah, I'm watching from the railroad.
Perfect. So NPA gets a really quick jump on TAW for round 2.
Yeah, it looks like NPA is actually taking up the buildings that I like. They've got Kibbs in the Vims building. They've got Infidel and Dyslexic United in the Alley building. And then they've got a whole squad by the church right now. So it's a pretty good setup. Bubbles is actually in the corner building now. So that's the ideal setup for Carentan, in my opinion.
Looks like TAW artillery is starting to come in, but it's too little too late. Unable to stop their advance.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think if I'm TAW, I'm probably thinking let's load up the defense this round and try to see if we can't sneak a cap on Town Center.
TAW looks like they've got 1, 2, maybe 3 squads pushing it to try and take Town Center. But they definitely lost this cap race, maybe due to that supply truck, transport truck flipping.
Well, they're not going to want to take the main road in because there's a Panther waiting for them. If they do.
Well, that Panther's gone.
Yeah, TAW's armor from the south is able to take out that Panther. TAW has some really great armor play.
Okay.
I'm referring to a panther on the strong point, which I'm looking at right now.
There's a panther and a tiger both on the point. One's by the alleyway and the other one's on the back road more.
You know, if I'm in this panther, I think I'd back up a little bit so that they couldn't come in behind me in the alleyway. But they're doing a good job, so.
I think it's a matter of trust. He's got 2 infantrymen actually covering that exact alleyway that he could be
That's
pushed
true.
from. So, but TAW is really moving in here. And I apologize for the background noise. Airshow can't do
Uh-oh.
anything about it.
I noticed that tank has been perfectly marked. I wonder if they have the artillery skills to come hurt on him.
That's for sure. Rob, what's your opinion?
Of what? I mean, my opinion right now, if I'm TW, is I'm probably gonna load up pumping station and try to force it, never play alone to pull off town center, and then try to send maybe 1 or 2 squads around the back to get a rear garrison or 2 set up. And try to do a little push and pull, because I think this strong point is just so hard to counter once people are dug in that you kind of have to force their defense to get a little lazy or lull them to sleep a little bit and then strike it back pretty hard. I don't think we're going to see the same back and forth we did last time, as TW had just a slightly slower start and NPA had a much faster start to really secure town center with force. And
Yeah, I'm going to position myself so I could see both town center and pumping station, because there's the action at town center seemed to be shifting closer and closer to pumping station now.
gotcha. I'm going to look towards town center from the back of pumping station so I can catch what's going on there. If you want to look from town center towards pumping.
So you're going to be at pumping station looking towards town center?
Yeah, I will say that TW has a pretty deep flank going on town center, so it might be worth checking that out as well. And they have their 2 armor, so I think
I'm watching that flank on the action cam here.
Yeah, I'm definitely just watching it.
Bit concerned that TW once again only has maybe a 4-man squad back on defense. Be interesting to see.
And they have 1 garrison in the strong point, which is not ideal.
Be interesting to see if they kind of change it up a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like NPA is looking to set up a garrison on the north side of the canal, and they've got a good number of recon in the area.
Yeah, it's just so tough with only, if you only have that 1 garrison and you only have that 1 squad, maybe 2 small squads on defense. All it takes is, 1 lost engagement for, 1 guy standing to walk in, and he can swipe out most of what you have as far as defensive.
Yeah, you can't count on winning every single gunfight. And that's what it takes when you're that vulnerable.
We see the supply drop from command from Never Play Alone, and we got Art Roncon from NPA putting up their garrison for an assault. But it looks like TW Barry Mackey might be sniffing out that garrison placement. Probably already locking it down, depending on if it's in the zone or not. As we start to see NPA is starting to draw forces towards pumping stations, they now have at least 1 full squad size element pushing in.
TAW's just got an OP down behind town center. They're getting ready to make something happen, but I think they're about to get spotted.
I will say town center is one of those points that, like, necessarily coming at different angles or getting the rear on people coming in from different sides is not even the end all be all, just because it's really all about like 1 or 2 courtyard houses and getting that outpost in there. And there's not really any good approach, making it a really, really hard point to recapture.
That's for sure.
Oh, we just got a good grenade by Lil White, it looks like. And he trades with the TAW support, I want to say. They got another spawn at their OP, which they almost lost just now.
Meanwhile, TW has sniffed out that assaulting garrison NPA has put on the south side, so we'll see if they're able to take it out. Archon winning a 2-on-1 gunfight to keep it going, so good fight from him.
Yeah, it looks like TAW's pushing down the main alleyway from the German side to push into town center.
That's true, but they've been spotted and they're trying to fight actually back the other way just to keep their OP safe, so they're not managing to put any actual pressure on the town center yet. And NPA is definitely responding to this presence.
Those are bombing runs called in from TAW. I will say TAW's defense so far has been very effective. They do have 2 squads spread out pretty effective, on either side.
That bombing run seemed to actually be fairly effective, as it's taken out the commander who was on point along with anybody else who was on defense. So the question is, what is NPA going to do to respond to this?
Yep. We also have TAW Hoggy making the suggestion for more defensive garrisons, which I think is a really good point to call out. Only having that one garrison, it's not enough, especially now as both the garrison and OP on pumping is hot, just because, again, Joe 0450 just snuck in from behind, swiped the OP, and now he's taking down the garrison. So all it takes is one crack in the defenses, and they're already much less able to respond to those kind of attacks.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the most important piece to actually win any battle is just simply having better information than the other guy, and garrisons do that for you passively. They can tell you which way the enemy's approaching from, and from there you can maybe work out that they have OPs or garrisons over here. If you only got one garrison, there's no way you can pinpoint that. You were gonna say something, Mix, and I feel like I cut you off.
Just TAW Baker squad is in the fight of its life in this alleyway, just holding on tooth and nail, keeping this OP up and moving it. It's a battle of inches. Oh, artillery, grenades. I don't know how their OP is still up, but it is. At this point, I think the whole squad has been wiped back here, but the OP is still there. So they're going to be back in a few seconds. Yeah. Oh, there it goes.
And we're starting to get capture progress on pumping station as Never Play Alone is starting to put a stranglehold on from 2 directions. However, TAW Barry Mackey seems to have sniffed out that garrison and has finally been able to make a push in. So now it's going to be a matter of if TAW can sweep out some of those outposts from NPA, they're going to have a really hard time recovering without that garrison to be there to help them out.
TAW is starting to make some moves here.
Yeah, they've taken
what might be the end of this Panther here in just a moment.
Yeah, they've taken the corner house and they've taken the alley house now. But now they've got to still take out the tanks on point, because if they don't do that, they're not going to get too far.
Yeah, meanwhile, it looks like the NPA is getting pretty good effective pressure on pumping station. TAW still has established one more garrison in the area of pumping station, which should be a significant help. But it's really just one gunfight away from taking out that garrison, and it's a close call for TAW on defense right now.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to get another garrison put up behind pumping station in order to attack it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Never Play Alone now has 3 points of pressure coming down on pumping station as TAW pulls an additional, we'll see, maybe an additional squad back to help out.
Yeah, NPA's put in two squads of their own to go help with the defense. 2 or 3, I can't really tell.
TAW has been unable to solve this Panther problem, and he stopped him cold at a town center. There's one TAW player posted up in that building on the south side, but he's more or less surrounded by hostiles.
He's probably just hoping he doesn't. Oh, he's gone for some reason.
And NPA getting another rear side garrison using a supply drop. So they might start to get a lot of effective pressure on pumping.
It looks like maybe that TAW push forced a fallback, though. Seems like a lot of NPA guys responded.
The challenging thing here now, though, is with only one garrison really effective and only having one garrison, one outpost anywhere near a pumping station, TAW is still in just a very sensitive position. And we're starting to get more cap progress on pumping station. TAW is once again being surrounded.
They don't really have a strong push on town center either, so they might be
Yeah,
wise to try to stop the bleeding here.
Looks like TAW's got a flank going on to try and push into town center. But it may be too little too late. TAW's one garrison towards the mouth of town center has been snuffed.
And you can see already with Baker Squad from TAW making a heroic effort to get in and around. But it's, town center really is that one unique point where it really doesn't, it almost doesn't help to come from different angles because you have to get in to those houses. So it doesn't matter which way you go unless you can get into those houses. It's really all for naught.
And that's why we've constantly been saying, I want to see satchel charges.
Yeah.
If you've got to clear out those houses and those tanks, there's really no better way to get a 2-for-1 deal here.
And pumping stations in very, very bad situation for TAW. They have just lost all their spawns in the area of pumping station. And I think this is a good example of really the need to build those multiple garrisons and making sure as your SL you're getting you're doing everything you can to get those outposts back up because there's really no stopping NPA now from capping pumping station.
Yeah, so the question is, how does TAW respond? Do they reset quickly? Are they able to sense their situation and make
Well, there's
something
no way
work?
they're going to win the cap race.
Well, they just threw an airhead down in F4, which is a significant amount of supplies. So even though they're capping town center, it's really all for naught.
Yeah, seems like they maybe want to send squad leads back to try to get some OPs in CD once it flips, and everybody else back to main to just build up the attack.
Yeah, MPA is more or less given up on town center, it seems like, just to cap pumping station because they know they can win this cap race.
It's definitely the right move. And sadly for TAW, they've been busy building defenses here, which they won't even be able to blow up with satchels because that's friendly barbed wire.
Ooh. Oh, I didn't even realize that was a thing, and that's so dirty.
Yeah, that's, when you fortify a point, you better hold that point because sometimes you become your own worst enemy.
Yep, and all of TW is now on town center, and they even committed.
They've lost it
Airhead.
now. I want to say 9 minutes and 49 seconds.
Yep. So 9 minutes and 49 seconds means 54. Okay. How many seconds did you say? 49 seconds?
Yeah.
NPA pushing out from pumping station, trying to get some wider security.
And Sparrow, you want to help make sure we're keeping everyone in bounds? It looks like nothing too fancy. You might be getting close.
He is walking out. Hey, nothing too fancy. You need to go back towards the point. You're out of bounds.
So we still see a lot of TW fighting over by town center. But they do still have 2 section leaders over there, so if they're able to get those squad leaders alive, getting outposts behind pumping station, that could definitely be a big help in recapturing this point.
Oh boy, a little gunfight going on here. As Lucky Bunny is shooting the 76 in the ass, and Curry, the tank commander, can't figure out where he is.
Actually, they're out of bounds.
Yeah, Mix, you want to swap teams and help Sparrow keep them in bounds?
Yeah, Wilco.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely periodically check your map, Sparrow, so you can see. That's the easiest way to catch people right away.
Yeah. It's hard because there's a little bit of delay on it. And, like, they were trying to take out a tank that was there.
Yeah, that was definitely a unique situation for sure. Like Lucky Bunny right now, is he good?
Yeah, he's good.
Alright, cool. So that must be the line pretty much right there. Got it. Bomber run coming in from TAW. Seem to maybe destroy a thing or two, but not too many enemy casualties.
If only there was instructable environments in this game and you hit those gas tanks.
We're seeing Dog Squad now with an outpost in the back of pumping station starting to put pressure on NPA. I would not be surprised to see this pumping station be recapped. NPA is pretty far forward. And TW is starting to do a stranglehold from 2 directions of pressure.
Yeah, the only people in the lines right now are Freak Fighter and Easy Buck Compton, but they're both recon.
Perfect.
76 goes down. Boom.
Big
That's a
bombing
little
run
bit
here.
unfortunate because he was pretty beat up by somebody who's out of bounds.
Who's that?
At 76. If I have my... Yeah, I believe that he got attacked from behind by some AT of TAWs that shouldn't have been there.
You mean NPA?
Oh, excuse me, of an NPA, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're really close to the line. So like nothing too fancy and SYN. I think that it was one of those like kind of bouncing back and forth on the line in the engagement. So that's a tricky call when it's like really that close. But they pulled back when Sparrow asked them to, so that's about the best we can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, the mistakes will happen. I've been in this fight enough times to know how brutal it is trying to retake pumping station.
It's horrible. It's all open field. You really don't have a whole lot of cover.
Mm-hmm. If they get their game together and just cover this road, cover the field north, doesn't give you a lot of options.
Approaching 10 minutes left to recapture pumping station.
NPA has good garrison placement too. They should be able to get warning if they're getting flanked.
Yeah, it seems like NPA has been able to snuff out the northern flank that TW had going, and also snuff out the western flank as well.
Just saw a little firefight in this cemetery down here, which is cool because you didn't get to play there very often. There's a lot of good parts of these maps that just don't get used that much because they're not that tactically significant most of the time.
This Panther here did really well. They took out one of the I can't tell if it was a 75 or 76 of TAWs.
I think it was a Stewart.
It was Stewart. Never
Yeah.
mind.
I will say Lil White came in clutch
I don't
there.
endorse seal clubbing in any sense, and that's that's brutal.
Yeah. Lil White kind of saved that Panther there as a TW AT guy was getting in from behind. He was able to pick him off. Can we call the Panther back? He's getting really close to the line, if not over. Sparrow mix.
Looks like NPA just found a garrison.
Yeah.
Are you on that, Sparrow?
Yeah, that Panther's really out of bounds. We gotta get on that, please, or else he's gonna have to get kicked.
I'm looking for him.
I'm on him. I'm on him now.
All
Well,
right, just
he's
gotta pull him
dead.
up. So give him a warning. Tell him if it happens again, it's a kick, because that was pretty egregious.
Was that actually out of bounds? It looked when I checked
No,
like he was still on the line.
he was still in bounds.
Oh, was he?
Like,
Okay.
yeah. I told him he was getting really close, but the way the bunker is, or the way that trench is, it's like the tail end where it like straightens out is where
Yeah,
it's out of
gotcha.
bounds.
It's like impossible to
Meanwhile,
tell.
keep an eye on Oz up here.
Yeah, it's
Oz
He's
is
out of bounds. Hey, Oz, buddy, you're out of bounds. I need you to pull it back. Thank you. He did manage to grab some American supplies. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Let's type out that warning to Oz. And if it happens again, it's gonna have to be
I did. I typed out a warning.
Okay.
He is right on the line right now. But I guess he's been paying attention because he stopped and turned around.
Good. So we're approaching pretty close to that 5-minute mark.
Watching some medical heroics here. Did not pan out, but it was a nice try.
So we're hitting the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, we got German supplies going down on pumping station.
Oof, just an absolutely brutal fight trying to get back in the pumping station. And NPA really doing a great job holding it down.
Yeah, I gotta say they look really well positioned. And again, no nodes. That means whatever armor assets or whatever they can bring to the fight here to try to force something to happen. They have to make it happen soon before they just lose their initiative. That said, here comes a 76. Very valuable piece of equipment right now.
What was the time we had called?
It is 54 minutes 49 seconds in game. So just under 4 minutes left to play. STW is actually getting some good progress from this eastern cornfield. Yeah, I remember when we were testing this setup out, there was one point where we were playing and we were boxed out to this point trying to retake pumping, and this little house just in front of pumping station towards the middle of the map. Even from that cornfield, it's so hard to dislodge. You really have to push north.
Yeah, TAW seems to be pushing in from the 502nd start. And they've taken more or less the south side of the point.
Yeah, we might
Now
see
the question
something
is,
here.
can they actually hold it?
I would not be surprised to see.
TAW's pretty dominant on the north side, but they definitely have people reacting to their presence.
I think TAW is starting to get pretty good pressure going here. I would not.
Now it's time for them to contend with that barbed wire they put there.
See, the real tricky point though is that although they're pushing from that south side, which is probably the best approach, that they're not actually in the capture space. So it makes it, even though it's the best approach, most of your time is spent not in that capture zone, which can be really challenging to start to get cap progress. Start approaching the 2-minute mark.
Got some cheeky footage of Bubbles from NPA here, standing on top of a crane, watching the whole battlefield.
So we're at the 2-minute warning. So NPA really holding on. So some excellent fights in the early first round.
TAW seemed to have pushed them back a little bit. They've got one tank engaging. Oh, never mind. Tank's gone. Tiger won that fight.
Yeah. I mean, TAW is definitely taking ground back from NPA, but it seems like it's going to be a little too late. And NPA has been able to react with force. It is just so hard once you lose those nodes. That's such a force multiplier.
TAW has, well, they have started to get a foothold. They haven't pushed up far enough. The entirety of NPA is on this point right now. There's a bombing run going down, and it seems like it's gonna be pretty brutal from NPA here.
Yeah, but great effort from TAW. We've seen teams get almost completely boxed out, and this time they really put a fight in. So I'm going to do a score check with under a minute left.
Here goes that bombing run. Not as big money as I would have thought, but
nope, a lot of smoke and fire and one kill.
All right, looks like we're
What the heck?
approaching about 30 seconds or so. Sparrow, I'll give you like a countdown here shortly for the end.
Give me a 10.
I'll give you a 10-second countdown, so we're pretty much there. All right, 10.
A dramatic last ditch.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's about time. Man, I think that's going to be a good match, though. 107 versus TAW. TAW definitely gave NPA a run for their money in the
Stop
early match.
recording.